Hi, my name's Tammy Helm. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm the Regional Council Manager for Birth to 5 Illinois, Region 11, covering Clark, Coles, Cumberland, Douglas, Edgar, Moultrie, and Shelby Counties. I want to thank you for watching Region 11's Early Childhood Regional Needs Assessment virtual report. This recorded session will provide an overview of findings from the Birth to 5 Illinois Region 11 Needs Assessment, as well as talk about the strengths, needs, and recommendations for improving access to and enrollment in early childhood education and care programs in the region. A link to the full report can be found in the description below. If you would like to turn on closed captioning, click the CC icon at the bottom of the video. This will turn on the captions. If you want a different language other than English, click on the gear icon for settings, click on subtitles, then auto translate, and you can scroll down to pick the language that you want. In 2021, the Illinois Commission on Equitable Early Childhood Education and Care Funding issued a report with findings that highlighted the inequities in early childhood funding in Illinois and the need to create a better statewide infrastructure to support early childhood professionals, expand services and programs for families and caregivers, and increase enrollment in ECEC programs. The report focused on the importance of addressing racial inequities and the need to include local voices in the conversation funders and decision makers were having about early childhood education and care. To provide a structure for communities, families, and caregivers to engage with the data and share their experiences, a new statewide infrastructure was created across 39 regions, all of which align with existing Illinois State Board of Education regional offices of education boundaries, but they operate independently. Birth to 5 Illinois regional boundaries align with school districts instead of strictly following county lines, which can be a challenge for gathering and interpreting data because many early childhood services are provided by or tied to school districts. Region 11 is located in central southeastern Illinois and covers Clark, Coles, Cumberland, Douglas, Edgar, Moultrie, and Shelby counties. And it is the traditional home to the Kickapoo, Kaskaskia, Miami, and Oceti-Sakowin peoples. It is a mostly rural area with small towns filling in the landscape between farms and fields. However, each county has one or two more densely populated areas that contain the majority of services and resources available for families. Agriculture and manufacturing are the region's biggest industries, with the largest exports being grain, cattle, and pork. Joining me in the Regional 11 office is Administrative Support Linda Gamble and Kaylee Bontrager, our Family and Community Engagement Specialist, which will be speaking next.
The experiences and knowledge families, caregivers, and the early childhood professionals gain while navigating the complexities of the state's early childhood education and care system are valuable, and understanding their lived experience in the local context is vital for decision makers to ensure communities have access to the programs, services, and supports they need. To this end, Birth to 5 Illinois was created to harness family and caregiver voices in early childhood education and care, and serve as a bridge between the communities and policymakers so family, caregiver, and professional experiences can guide the decisions made to expand or enhance services across the state. Our mission is to create a statewide regional infrastructure that will amplify input from communities in the development of policies and funding priorities. We support the mobilization of communities to build and sustain equitable access to inclusive, high-quality early childhood services for all children and families in the state of Illinois. We envision that our work will help all stakeholders reimagine a more equitable early childhood education and care system that respects family and community voice and works to ensure it is centered and prioritized at every level of decision making in Illinois. We have three main values and goals. First, we must prioritize family voice. Through this transformation centered on authentic family and community engagement, we will address the inequitable distribution of resources and services and rebuild our state's early childhood education and care system. Second, we must address the racial inequities that exist in our early childhood system. In an effort to move our early childhood education and care system to one where racism no longer impacts a child's success, we will work to dismantle barriers that have limited access to high-quality services for minoritized children in every corner of our state. Third, we will use the collective impact model to shift the early childhood system to influence policy and funding at local, regional, and state levels. 4-5 Illinois will use community-driven feedback to build a system that harnesses knowledge directly from families and providers and encourages decision makers to ensure new and/or expanded services are created to meet community needs. Two critical parts of the new statewide infrastructure are family councils and action councils. Located in each of the 39 regions, the councils provide feedback on quantitative data from the Illinois Early Childhood Asset Map, or ICAM, and the Illinois Network of Child Care Resource and Referral Agencies, or INCRA, to help conceptualize the data at the local level. The councils meet twice a month in virtual, in-person, or hybrid meetings. The family councils are comprised of parents and caregivers from a wide variety of family types, including single parents, adoptive and foster parents, caregivers of relatives, teen parents, two-parent families, multi-generational families, and more, and prioritize the voice of those who have not been involved in this type of work before. We want to highlight those who have been involved in our Region 11 Family Council over the past year and thank them for sharing their experiences with the early childhood system. Samantha Bush, Elizabeth Hauser, Holly Smith, Nicole Thiel, and Morgan Waller.
Action councils are comprised of early childhood education and care professionals, healthcare providers, faith leaders, elected officials, and other community members. Each action council reserved 2 seats for parent caregivers to ensure family voices were included in every discussion. Action council members were invited to bring additional aggregated data on programs and services provided by their agency or organization to complement data from ICAM and INCRA. We extend thanks and gratitude to our Region 11 Action Council members: Daphne Boley, Jennifer Bonowit, Jennifer Butcher, Melissa Coleman, Kyla DeVos, Amy Dirtle, Lisa Flynn, Robin Hopper, Dr. Jeremy Larson, Corey Moore, Dennis Pearson, and Laura Shull. Beyond the council meetings, additional qualitative data was collected community-wide through focus groups, interviews, and county halls, and all council members were invited to provide input on each section of their early childhood regional needs assessment. Council members developed the strengths, needs, and recommended next steps that are unique to each region. Regional teams, along with the support of their Action and Family Council members, created a dissemination plan and are holding community meetings virtually and in person to share their report's findings. The following slides highlight some data that was discussed by council members and provide insights into early childhood education and care landscape of our region. Region 11 is mostly white, but each county has a percentage of racial diversity ranging from 3% to 11%. Coles County has the highest racial diversity, with Coles County housing Eastern Illinois University, which brings higher numbers of diversity. Cultural diversity is unique to Region 11, specifically Douglas County, with a large Amish population housed in Arthur and the surrounding areas. Douglas County also houses a large Hispanic Latino population located primarily in Arcola. According to Miraza President, the Hispanic or Latino population was underreported to the census and is closer to 50% of the city of Arcola. Among the 7 counties, the average commute to work time is 26 minutes, with many workers traveling from other counties for work. In addition to the long commute times, a portion of the population works night shifts, split shifts, and weekend shifts in factories, healthcare settings, and on farms. Part of the conversation with council members were around priority populations, defined by the Illinois Early Learning Council as groups that have been historically underserved by early childhood education and care programs. In Region 11, the priority populations include children living in families in poverty or deep poverty, children of teen parents, children experiencing homelessness, and children and families with DCFS involvement. While data on children and families from priority populations is limited, there are a few things of note about Region 11. According to the 2020 census, over half of the children ages birth to 5 lived at or below 200% of the federal poverty level, meaning that many of them were eligible for a number of state-funded early childhood programs. Those living at the highest rates of poverty, 75%, were concentrated in Douglas County, between the towns of Arthur and Tuscola was 75%, and Coles County between the towns of Mattoon and Charleston, 81%. Additional information about priority populations was gathered through surveys, interviews, and focus groups and is included throughout our final Early Childhood Regional Needs Assessment Report. Community collaborations are an integral part of the early childhood landscape. Local early childhood community collaborations bring together community agencies, organizations, and individuals with a shared vision or goal. They understand the importance of improving early child education and care for children, caregivers, and providers. For the purpose of this document, a collaboration is defined as a group of community stakeholders seeking to formally come together to work on early childhood systems and/or recent recipients of funding to establish an early childhood community collaboration. Through our research, we discovered that there is one formal collaboration within Region 11, Douglas County. However, there are several community groups that are informally doing this work because they have identified an ECEC need within their community. One formal collaboration in Region 11 is the Arcola Community Economic Development Program, and they're located in Douglas County. Currently, there are only 3 licensed home daycare providers and 2 PFA classrooms located in Arcola. Many of the residents must travel outside of Arcola to have their child care needs met, and there is a desperate need for infant and toddler care. This collaboration received a collaboration grant to help assist them with the planning and implementation of a strategic plan to secure an early childhood education and care site that was forced to close during the COVID-19 pandemic. More information on this local collaboration and other informal collaborations and the work they're doing can be found in the Regional Needs Assessment.
Region 11 is home to a variety of early childhood education and care programs and providers. But access to early childhood programs and services is not equitable for all the region's families. There are not enough spots for families to enroll their child in care across programs in the region, leaving some families with very limited options for childcare. As one community member stated, in such a rural area, open spots in childcare and early childhood education are hard to come by. We rely heavily on project help for preschool and home providers for infants and toddlers. Many of the local programs, including Preschool for All programs, have long wait lists. Wait lists at child care centers and the availability of child care in our region is a significant barrier for families and caregivers, especially for families of infants and toddlers. However, just because families are able to find a spot available for their child does not always mean that they can afford it, causing families to turn down spots because they are unable to afford the cost of childcare. There is a program that families can apply to through the Illinois Department of Human Services, or IDHS, called the Child Care Assistance Program, or CCAP. This program provides families with limited access to financial resources and access to quality, affordable childcare while allowing caregivers to continue working and/or completing their education. All families are required to cost share on sliding scale based on their family size and income. However, not all providers will accept CCAP due to delayed payments, and not all families want to complete the application, which is lengthy and can be difficult to complete. There are publicly funded preschool options available in the region, such as Head Start, Preschool for All, and Preschool for All expansion programs. However, not all programs are full day, nor do they provide transportation to and from the program, leaving many families who qualify for publicly funded preschool choosing not to enroll them in a publicly funded program. A large program in Region 11 is Project Help, a Preschool for All program facilitated by Eastern Illinois Area Special Education, EASY. Project Help classrooms can be found across Region 11 in rural school districts. However, most Project Help programs only offer half-day programs and no transportation. Through community meetings, focus groups, interviews, and surveys, families in the region reiterated the urgent need for more affordable and full-day childcare and preschool options, staffed with providers and teachers that are well paid, supported, and who will want to continue working in the early childhood education field long-term. Similar to other areas of the state, Region 11 is experiencing a staff and teacher shortage, preventing programs from operating at full capacity or expanding to meet community needs. Staff turnover is a big contributor to the workforce shortage, and remains a concern among community members in Region 11. Retirement rates are also increasing with our family child care providers as more start to leave the industry due to the lack of respect and support, but also the rising cost of living. A family child care provider noted, "I truly don't know how much longer I can do this. Every year I'm in the negative, and with the rising cost of living, I'm stressed. I love these children and I'm passionate about providing this care, but I need to stay afloat." Unfortunately, unlike other workforce sectors, as family child care providers begin to retire, there is not a following generation that can fill all the spots, which has caused an increased slot gap for infants and toddlers in Region 11. The lack of infant and toddler care in Region 11 was just one of the many different themes highlighted during conversations, interviews, and focus groups with families and caregivers in Region 11. A large majority of families and caregivers reported that they were not using their preferred method of childcare, like licensed homes and centers, and instead were highly reliant on neighbors, grandparents, or other family members to provide childcare for their children. Some parents have had to quit their jobs or turn down career advancements due to the lack of available childcare. One parent mentioned, "I remember coming home from the hospital with my first baby, who is now 3, and freaking out because we didn't have someone to watch him while we were at work. There was no availability within 30 minutes of here, and I had to quit my job and stay at home. Now with 2 kids, not only is there not spots available, we wouldn't be able to afford them. Being a stay-at-home mom used to be a privilege, and now it's a necessity." The topic of transportation and travel for early childhood education and care was also highlighted by families and caregivers, with some families traveling up to 131 miles each day because the only childcare they could find was in the opposite direction of their work.
Community and council members identified several strengths of the early childhood system in Region 11. For the sake of time, I will only share a few. The greatest strength of the region is the longevity and passion of current ECEC providers. While there are few, they are mighty. Many of our providers in Region 11 put unique spins on their programs, like the Country Learning Center in Douglas County. Our provider diversity is representative of the communities that they serve. While the majority of our region is white, areas with higher racial and ethnic diversity rates also show through in the staff. Many programs in Region 11 are also seeing increases in male staff, specifically in Coles County. High utilization rates are also a strength for our region, with Preschool for All programs continuously being utilized to the max, even in rural areas. Community and council members also identified challenges and opportunities for growth in the region as well. And for the sake of time, I'll only share a few. One of the biggest needs highlighted was an increase in infant and toddler care slots. This population has smaller staff to child ratios, causing many centers and programs to avoid offering infant and toddler care. Public transportation for local programs is another large need for our region, which is characterized as very rural and spread out. Many programs in Region 11 do not offer public transportation, and those that do are facing transportation staffing issues, causing delays and sometimes transportation closures. And working families need more access to full-day preschool programs. While many preschool programs in Region 11 provide half-day programs to serve more children, many families are struggling with finding care for the other half of the day.
Based on community and council conversations, recommendations have been made on how early childhood education and care programs and services can be improved for families in the region. Recommendations will be presented to lawmakers, state agencies, local elected officials, and funders so they can better understand the needs of families in the region and share their recommendations with them so they can see how to best meet those needs. These are a few of the recommendations made, but more can be found in the Regional Needs Assessment. Promote public creation of family child care homes, specifically serving infants and toddlers by increasing accessibility and offering incentives at the state and local levels. By providing easier opportunities to open and operate family child care homes, the number of available early childhood education and care options and slots will increase. Increase full-time preschool programming opportunities. By offering more full-time preschool programs, we can support the working families by removing the barrier of having to find multiple early childhood education and care providers to care for their children during a single workday. Expand support programs and develop continuation incentives for early childhood education care and staff. By actively supporting current early childhood education and care staff, we empower them to continue in the early childhood education and care field. This summer, we will be out in the community talking to more families, providers, and stakeholders about their experiences with early childhood education and care, and we want to talk to you. We invite community members, families, and early childhood professionals to join the conversation by filling out a council interest form. Please go to www.birth25il.com/councils or click the link in the description to get involved. Interest forms will close later this summer, with council meetings fully resuming in August.
I want to thank our state partners for their support and you for watching. We encourage you to stay in touch with us by visiting our regional page at www.birth25il.com/region11, joining our Facebook group, or reaching out to me via email at thelm@birth25il.com. Links to our pages, along with my email address, are available in the description below. Thank you again for your time, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.